because he is going to pay you to beat him doesn't mean you can. I'm not nervous at all about that. If anything, it's my advantage. He's going to come out, try to knock me out, and like he just said, he's going to get caught because he respects my power. A lot of people online were saying, why didn't you finish him? Why didn't you finish him? Because Tyron felt my power in the first round. And he knew that if he walked into that shit, it's on the canvas. I hurt him multiple times in that fight, but for some reason people don't want to talk about that.
When did the referee ever come towards my way to save my life? When did you hurt me? When did you nearly put me to the canvas?
7th round, overhand right.
Yeah, you
Picture
know what
that's
happened?
on my Instagram
Right?
with your head
got
going.
back in your face like
and you fell forward into my arms and I caught you. I saved your life. But
guess
not this
what?
time.
Every time I hit you, you ran. Every time you hit me, I walked you down. I got back in your face. So when you hit me, it actually made me even more pissed off. So at the end of the day, I don't know where that analogy came from with the basketball game. You lost me and everybody in this room because you definitely didn't win 7 rounds. Number one. Number two, why didn't you knock me out? If you hit me with the hardest shots, why didn't it make me back up? Why were you the one to run it the whole time?
So it begs the question, and we'll wrap it up with this.
Let him answer that.
I said, no, 100%. I didn't hit you with my best shot, and that's the beauty of this fight coming in. And that's why I'm so confident.
What was you
I didn't hit you with my best shot. It was a bad night, and I still beat you.
It was a bad night.
And you should be embarrassed by that because I beat you on a
Saturday's
bad night.
gonna be a bad
my
night.
first time going 8 rounds.
That was a Christmas
by a
gift.
10-ounce glove.
August 29th was a Christmas.
You don't know.
December 18th,
You don't know
Saturday
what's
night is going to be a bad
Hold on,
night.
we'll wrap it up. How will you be different this time around?
You'll see. Enough with the talking. We're 2 days away. Everyone can tune the fucking Showtime.com/pay-per-view. Fucking be there. Otherwise, you're missing out on one of the greatest fights ever. Thank you.
Tyron, how will you be different?
I don't need to be different. I just need to go out there and get it done this time. I needed more time the last time. This time I'm getting some extension to that for last fight, so I'm going to get the round done. This is the round 9 to me.
Here we go, folks. Leave no doubt. Jake Paul, Tyron Woodley, Showtime pay-per-view. I know members of the media have got questions. We got a mic. We just ask that you introduce yourself and tell us who you are and who you're with.
This message is, this question's for Frank Gore. I'm Greg Ivory with Bleacher Report Betting. I'm riding with you. Me and the BR Ben is riding with you on Saturday, but you the underdog. So what do you got to say to the people that's betting against you, Frank?
Man, I've been underdog all my life, bro. I'm okay with it. I will say, like I said before, I train real hard. I've been around this sport for a long time, and the world gonna see my type of skills I got in the boxing ring.
Mark Ray Mundy for ESPN. I just wanted to ask Anthony Taylor a question. When this fight was first booked with Chris Avila, you posted on Instagram that, you're not a fan of the Diaz.
Because he used to throw hands on the regular as well. So I'd probably put those guys on there, and then I'm going to throw myself on there.
You just gonna leave out Nate Robinson like that?
Come on, man.
That's not necessary.
Colin, the Schmo.
All right, here we are. This is the Schmo with the Schmo Zone. Question for Jake Paul. Yesterday at the media workout, you mentioned that Tyron Woodley's power was about a 4 out of 10. Have you been touched with anyone who's had a 7 or greater out of 10?
Yeah, I definitely have. I've sparred with 3-time, 4-time world champions, professional boxers, guys who are bigger than me, heavyweights. I sparred a guy who's 6'9". Those dudes can crack, and that's why I said his power is 4 out of 10. He won the UFC championship with that right hand. He hit me with it. I was off balance, yada, yada. First time I've been hit in a real fight. Cool, take it, no problem. Come back and win every single round after that. So that's why I give him a 4 out of 10.
Tyron, if you're a 4 out of 10, what is Jake to you for all the people that you felt?
To be honest, Jake was kind of running, so I would measure his track speed more than his punching power. So I give him a 10 out of 10 on his back pedal. He should probably be a cornerback.
I might actually go to the NFL after this, or NASCAR. I'm still debating.
Who's next?
The press conference, we're going to check in on that and play some more of it later on in the stream. We're going to be here for about an hour or so. That was the final press conference for Jake Paul, Tyron Woodley, Ahmed Serrano, Miriam Gutierrez. and former NBA player Darren Williams versus, I guess you can say now he's not fully retired, NFL player Frank Gore. That's on Showtime pay-per-view for $49.99 this Saturday night. T-Street Controversy with FV360. So we're going to talk about Jake Paul and Tyron Woodley later on, but right now what I want to turn your attention to is the boxing schedule for the weekend. The significant fights. I'm going to talk about, like, if you have the time and you're a hardcore boxing fan, these are the fights you're going to be watching. First, down below in the description box, I put several things. One is to our friends over at the WBC network, powered by the WBC channel, powered by the Vive network. Their links to their app is right down below in the description box. I made it so that all you have to do is click it. For Roku, Apple, Android. You can follow me on Twitch at T-Street Controversy. Going to be active very soon on there, as soon as tomorrow maybe. Also, I put the show notes. So this is what we're going to talk about in today's hour special. It's a lot to talk about, so we're going to try to make sure we stay on track here. Let me close this out. So we got Michael Soro versus Israil Madrimov preview. It's going to be on the DAZN tomorrow. It's an afternoon fight. Will the winner get Jermall versus Browne Castano 2? That's going to be February it's rumored to be February the 22nd, 2022. So tomorrow, Soro versus Madrimov is to be the WBA mandatory for Charlo Castano 2. Gilberto Ramirez is taking on Ynuieski Gonzalez. On that card, Seneisa super bad Estrada versus a Maria Santizo. Lamont Roach Jr. versus Rene Alvarado. That's a pretty good card. You know, the main event, not so much. You got Marlen Esparza versus Anabel Ortiz. That's going to be Saturday night on the DAZN. Next topic after that will be Beterbiev versus Marcus Browne. We're going to check in on that weigh-in. Full card breakdown, that's going to be on Top Rank on ESPN tomorrow. So we are clear. Tomorrow on ESPN Plus, you're going to have Beterbiev taking on Marcus Browne. It's a Canadian fight up in Quebec, I believe. That's going to be on ESPN Plus. Tomorrow afternoon, another significant fight. You're going to have Michael Soro versus Israil Madrimov. That's tomorrow afternoon on the DAZN. That's for the WBA mandatory. Okay, so there's 2 fights tomorrow. The next topic is going to be, we're going to close the video out pretty much the last half hour or so, 20 minutes. Jake Paul versus Tyron Woodley. Tommy Fury pulled out, citing a rib injury. Yet you have Tommy Fury pulled out, citing a rib injury, but you have Tyson Fury on the record. I guess he thought he was joking around and saying that Tommy would fight him with a broken arm, broken leg, broken rib, and well, Tommy Fury pulled out. Jake Paul at the media workout yesterday and building up to the fight, since Tommy Fury pulled out, has been pretty much saying that he wants to wait until Tommy Fury, or make Tommy Fury wait until he beats a whole bunch of guys, maybe 20 or so, before he offers him a fight again, and basically saying that, you know, he's not going to give him another chance. Darren Williams versus Frank Gore, I'm interested in it, but you know, not really. It's not the type of exhibition, and I'm like, yo, you know, I want to see that shit. Amanda Serrano versus Miriam Gutierrez. Serrano, if she wins, is supposed to face Katie Taylor for the 135-pound undisputed championship in Madison Square Garden sometime in the spring. Fights of the week, in a short preview, the Pro Bellum second card, headlined by Ricky Burns, is headlining that card, right? I forgot to pull it up. And David Morrell versus Atlantes Fox, the brother of Michael Fox. That's going to be on PBC on Fox, also on the 18th. Right? So it's a lot of boxing. Also, to get some things out of the way, thank you for liking the video and subscribing. If you haven't, we've been having some issues on the channel as I was suspended a few weeks back. The weekend of Canelo versus Plant, I was suspended off of YouTube for some videos I did on pedophilia 2-3 years ago. So YouTube don't like when you talk about like Jeffrey Epstein and all. I got caught up in that shit. You see what I'm saying? So basically my channels got shadow banned. So my videos don't get promoted like they was. So I was told it can last anywhere from 30 days to 6 months. Let's hope that's not the case. So moving on, we got a weigh-in here for you that took place earlier today. For this card right here, let me pull them up. Israil Madrimov, 7-0 with 5 KOs. Now, I remember one fight. He's been fast-tracked, by the way. He was formerly the WBA interim champ, wasn't he? And he was the mandatory for Israil Lara. I remember because I was on a Zoom call, and I asked him and his manager, you know, who they were targeting. And this was a couple of years ago. They was targeting Israil Lara. Well, if you don't know, Israil Lara has since moved up to 160. And right now, there's only one WBA champion at 154 pounds, and that's Jermall Charlo. So I remember, I believe it was this fight right here, the Eric Walker fight, where he didn't really look that good. I don't remember. But anyway, he's in a sleeper fight of the weekend, what I'm going to call a sleeper fight, against this guy, Michael Soro, 35-2-1 with 24 KOs. He fought, and I watched a little bit of it earlier, I skimmed through it. He fought Brian Castano, you know, nearly, 4.5 years back to a split decision. And let me tell you, that Brian Castano looks nothing like the Brian Castano today. Now, since then, we may know this guy, right? This seems familiar name. Greg Vendetti, 23-4-1. Who did he fight? Israil Lara. I remember. All right. Well, anyway, nobody really of note, but he's more of a boxer. So put it this way, it's going to be a really, really good fight, and I'm giving it 50-50. I wouldn't be surprised if Soro win. This is going to be on DAZN. Here, let me pull up the time and the schedule for you. Hold on. Tell you exactly. If you're home, ain't doing shit tomorrow, you know, it's a solid card to watch. Hold on, give me 1 minute. Let's see here. So it's going to be on DAZN tomorrow. The card is going to be starting at 10 a.m. Oh, shit. It's a 10 a.m. card tomorrow, 10 a.m. Eastern. Here is the card, by the way. Israil Madrimov versus Michael Soro. Bakhtimir Malakuzaliev. Remember, he's the one that got sparked ass up, face down by Gabriel Rosado. Gabriel Rosado just lost to Jaime Munguia. And then I don't know any of these other people on this card. I'm not going to act like I do. I don't know any of them. But these two fights right here are the ones I'm interested in. So I'm guessing if the card starts at 10 a.m., you know, according to DAZN, then that means it's probably not going to start until, I mean, the main event co-feature maybe about 2, 3 o'clock. Here's the weigh-in. Let's go take a look at it. Take your time out, like the video, subscribe. I'm T-Street Controversy with FV360. Let's turn it up.
Welcome participants of the main event of the evening.
Now, once again, the winner is going to be the mandatory for Jermall Charlo Brian Castano 2 winner. That fight's supposed to be taking place February the 22nd or the 29th. I forgot the date, but basically February of 2022. It's a lot of interesting stories around that fight. For example, what's going to happen with Bakhtimir Murtazaliev, IBF mandatory? Is he going to be fighting for the interim? Erickson Lubin and Sebastian Fundora have to fight to be the WBC mandatory. And Tim Tszyu is the WBO mandatory. So if I'm correct for Charlo, here is how it works in order. I believe the winner of Charlo Castano 2 has to fight Murtazaliev first if Murtazaliev holds on to the IBF mandatory spot. Then Tim Tszyu for the WBO. Then WBC would be the next mandatory. Then the WBA would be the next mandatory after that. From my understanding, correct me if I'm wrong. So I'm thinking that the winner of this fight right here, which we're about to watch the weigh-in for, won't get their mandatory shot until maybe sometime 2023, early 2023, around this time, 2022, I don't know. But, you know, it's looking like 2023, to be honest. Unless the belts get vacated or fractured.
12 rounds of final eliminator for WBA Super Welterweight title. Fighting out of the blue corner is the first ranking WBA gold title holder, Michel Soro, representing the city of Villeurbanne, France. Fighting of the red corner is number 2 of the WBA rating, the winner of the Asian Boxing Championship 2017 and 2018, silver medalist of the 2014 Asian Boxing Games, 2026 years old. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Israil, the Dream, Madrimov. And now, face to face, ladies and gentlemen, Michel Soro and Israil, the Dream Madrimov.
Yeah, they're fighting tomorrow on the DAZN. The card starts at 10 a.m. So if you ain't doing shit on a Friday here in the States, then you know you got something to watch. Once again, here's the card. Madrimov versus Michel Soro to be the WBA mandatory for Charlo versus Castano winner, but they won't exactly get their shot against the fighter. Bakhtimir Merlikuzaliev returned after being stopped and knocked out cold by Gabriel Rosado against Sergey Ikimov. And looking at the 154-pound division, let me break it down for you one final time before we move on. Charlo Castano are rumored to be fighting on in February of 2022. I believe the date is February the 22nd. I believe it is. Here is the mandatories. Madrimov and Soro fighting to be the WBA mandatory. Lubin and Fundora have to fight to be the WBC mandatory. Lubin and Fundora have to fight. He's the IBF mandatory. Don't be surprised if he'll be on the Charlo to Castano card, fighting for the IBF interim. And Tim Tszyu is the WBO mandatory for, you know, the winners. So 154 pounds is pretty stacked up, and you can see, you know, right now it's a clear picture of what fighters are set up for what titles and whatnot. Now, the other topic, a fight, you know, it's a good card, but I'm not really interested in the fight. Gilberto Ramirez is going to be taking on Ynuieski Gonzalez, who was somewhat of a lingering boogeyman several years back. What was I doing? Oh, yeah. Now, me personally, I'm wondering, what has Zurdo Ramirez really gained, you know, from leaving Top Rank? For example, is he making more money? Because when you look at his resume, let me pull it up here. He hasn't really done anything. You know, he hasn't really done anything to make me be like, all right, yo, like, you know, like at least he's been active and, you know, like doing shit, but he hasn't done anything. Now, he vacated his WBO title at 168 pounds. Okay, all right, understandable. You know, like he's a big dude. He's listed at about 6'3". You know, let's go look at his resume, pull up the card here. 42-0 with 28 KOs. His last fight, Sullivan Barrera. Before that, well, let's talk about his 2021 fights, okay? Sullivan Barrera, okay, all right. But Sullivan Barrera, to me, you know, this is a guy he should have fought a few years ago. Like, Sullivan Barrera in 2021 don't really, you know, ring no bells. His pandemic fight was Alfonso Lopez. That was at the end of the year. You know, since he left Top Rank, was the Tommy Carpenter fight a Top Rank fight? That wasn't this his last fight with Top Rank? But, you know, if he would have stayed with Top Rank, you know, I mean, hey, listen, he's got his own reasons for leaving, you know, but the rumors are that he was trying to, you know, get like a super big payday. And it just didn't come. But, you know, he's not even in the mix. People don't talk about him versus the winner, or I'm not hearing it, him versus the winner of Beterbiev versus Marcus Browne, which we're going to talk about next. Here's the card, by the way. This is going to be on Saturday on DAZN. Gilberto Ramirez versus Ynuieski Gonzalez. That's the main event. Lamont Roach versus, here, let me pull it up. Lamont Roach versus a Rene Alvarado. That's actually a really, really good fight on paper, in my opinion. Seneisa Estrada versus a Maria Santizo. Marlen Esparza versus an Anabel Ortiz. Nice little solid card. Now, when you look at the rankings, though, at 168, to be perfectly honest, it's hard for me to see Canelo going back down to 168. You know, after Makabu, whatever happens with that, I think Canelo's going to probably, you know, fight, you know, Beterbiev versus either Joe Smith versus Colin Johnson, winner. That's taking place in January. Or Canelo's going to fight the Bevo versus Marcus Browne, winner. Because, you know, he'll be able to get two birds with one stone with that, because Beterbiev has both the WBC and IBF. So, I don't see him going down to 168, but at 175, you know, if Zurdo Ramirez don't have no belt, he's not going to get Canelo. And right now, they're both on the same network or a broadcaster in the zone. So the winner, you know, put it this way, if Gilberto Ramirez is not going to get Beterbiev Browne winner, Joe Smith, Colin Johnson winner, then he got to fight Bevo. And Bevo needs a significant fight. Unless it's Joshua Buatsi, but these guys got to stop dancing around. You even have Callum Smith in the division right now. Anthony Yard is also in the mix. You see what I'm saying? So I don't know. You know, I'm not really too high on, you know, Gilberto Ramirez right now until he actually does something. Because right now he's just collecting a check the last, what, couple of years or so. Especially since Tommy Carpinti, I mean, since Jesse Hart. Don't get me wrong, the first Jesse Hart fight was close. In my opinion, a knockdown decided that fight. But the second fight, he clearly beat him up. So it's like, it's time to do something. I have a low tolerance for boxers. Like, when it's like, all right, bro, like, what is it that you're doing? Like, what is the path? Like, are you just fighting just to be fighting? Like, what's going on? But anyway, since we're on that subject, let's go watch the Artur Beterbiev weigh in. Starting with, the seductive, alluring Marie Declare. Please subscribe.
Sa fiche est parfaite, 9 victoires, aucune défaite, 7 KO. Elle est de Monterrey au Mexique, Cynthia Canelita Lozano. Elle est avec son entraîneur Juan Ray Rodriguez Alanis. She is trained by Juan Ray Rodriguez Alanis. From here on in, Dennis takes it. Alors, Cynthia Lozano, sur le pèse personne, en vue de son combat de demain soir, 10 rounds pour le championnat du monde IBF des mi-moyennes.
Is anybody getting any notifications? For those who don't know, I've been blacklisted, shadow banned by YouTube. I don't know how long it's going to last. So unless people are searching me out, they can't find my videos. It's trash. It's pissing me off. It happens when you get community guideline strikes, which I have.
151,2 livres, 151.2 pounds. We got all kinds of reaction for the 128 announcement, didn't we? So 151.2 official weight for Cynthia Lozano.
Well, anyway,
Maintenant, son adversaire.
This is the
avec une fiche de 17 victoires, une seule défaite.
Okay, let me turn down. This is the Beterbiev versus Marcus Browne weigh-in from earlier today. Marcus Browne is the WBC mandatory for Artur Beterbiev, who's the WBC and IBF unified champion. Yeah, I'm on some bullshit probation. This is the girl that Clarissa Shields beat to become the undisputed 154-pound champion. So she's the undercard. She's very big in Canada, very big name. She headlines events herself. So this is the Beterbiev versus Marcus Browne undercard. Marcus Beterbiev didn't make weight on the first try. Here, let's go to the weigh-in now. Just 0.2 over. That's nothing. That's a shit. You know.
His professional record is amazing. 24 victories, only 1 defeat. He is the former WBA interim champion, l'ex-champion intérim WBA, avec une fiche impressionnante de 24 victoires, une seule défaite, de Staten Island, New York, Marcus Browne.
Yeah, my number's been fucked since the Canelo fight. I was suspended. Like, I'm talking about, I see like the difference.
Fight will be refereed by veteran championship referee Michael Griffin, l'arbitre de ce combat demain soir.
I'm surprised the tank fight video got as high as it did.
For this contest, Barry Lindemann, Benoit Roussel, Kevin Scott, les supervisors on hand tomorrow night. They're in here today. Alberto Leon and George Martinez. Stepping up to the scale from Staten Island, New York, the contender Marcus Browne. L'aspirant de Staten Island dans l'État de New York, Marcus Browne sur le pèse personne.
174.6 livres, 174.6 pounds official weight for the contender Marcus Browne.
Now, when you see Beterbiev get on the
Son
scale,
adversaire s'amène avec son entraîneur Marc
you're going to
Ramsey,
see a lot of
entraîneur de
shenanigans.
champions mondiaux.
It's a bit concerning,
De
making you think like,
Kazachstan
damn, should he move
Russie,
up?
Maintenant de Montréal avec une fiche parfaite de 16 victoires.
Look, I'll let you see for
aucune
yourself.
défaite, toutes ces victoires acquises par KO. His opponent comes from
What up, Donnell?
Russia, now training out of and living in Montreal, Quebec, Canada. His professional record is perfect at 16 victories, all of them coming by way of knockout. L'actuel champion du monde WBC IBF unifié des mi-lourds, the current WBC and IBF unified light heavyweight champion of the world, Artur Beterbiev.
Now watch all this shit right here. It's a little concerning, because it's like, bro, you know, you having issues with weight. I mean, yeah, you got the beard and the hair. I don't know. I'm not trying to make nothing out of it.
175,2 livres, 175.2 pounds.
Then watch again. He gonna start wiping all this invisible ass sweat.
So that's
Dry as a bone. No, I'm not saying, you know, listen, I'm not saying, you know, I mean, he ended up making the weight, all right? That's, you know, that's what matters at the end of the day. He made the weight.
Again, 175.2, 175,2 livres. Maintenant, les règlements du WBC et de l'IBF stipulent qu'Artur Beterbiev a jusqu'à 14 heures cet après-midi pour perdre les 2 onces de trop. Again, WBC and IBF rules stipulate that Artur has until 2 p.m. this afternoon to cut the extra weight being 2 ounces. So I repeat, WBC and IBF rules stipulate that Artur Beterbiev has until 2 p.m. this afternoon to shed 2 ounces off to come back to the scale with the mandatory maximum weight of 175
Yeah, I watched Thinner earlier this year.
Encore une fois, il a jusqu'à
First time I
14
seen
heures
it was
cet
with my
après-midi
grandma.
pour perdre 2 onces et
I curse you,
revenir
white
sur
man
le
from
pèse
town. I
personne
curse you.
à 175
Dinner.
livres maximum. Alors, demain soir, 12 rounds de boxe pour le titre unifié WBC IBF.
Curse you, white man from town.
Tomorrow night, again, 12 rounds of action for the WBC and IBF Unified Light Heavyweight Championship of the World here at Bell Center. Tickets on sale now at evenco.ca. Les billets sont en vente à evenco.ca. Merci d'avoir été avec nous. Thanks for being with us, everyone. And we look forward to seeing you all tomorrow night at Bell Center. Au plaisir de vous revoir demain soir.
So that's tomorrow on ESPN Plus. 16-0 with 16 KOs. I was at the Volsdik fight. I met Usyk at that joint. His last fight was so basically he didn't fight none of 2020. You know, okay, COVID, all right. Adam Dennis, how do you pronounce that? Now he's fighting Marcus Browne to defend his IBF and WBC titles. Marcus Browne, 24-1 with 16 KOs. Only loss to take the test, Bernard, take the test. Jean Pascal, no good. Jean Pascal, he defeated Badu Jack. I don't remember the Badu Jack fight. Why don't I remember that? Was that a close fight? Because these cards look like he got like a shutout. I don't remember that fight. So the fact that Jean Pascal popped dirty, this fight, that's a good question. I believe it's tomorrow night. Let me check real quick. Well, anyway, here's the undercard. Where's it at? Right here. Remember Steve Rolls, he just got thrown on here. Former Gennady Golovkin opponent. He's on this joint here. Let me open up ESPN Plus, see what time this card starts tomorrow. Yeah, Usyk was in Philly for the Beterbiev Volzdik fight. That fight was in Philly. It's going to be tomorrow at 8 p.m. Eastern on ESPN Plus. Beterbiev versus Browne. So the card is going to be Beterbiev Browne. The co-feature I know is Marie Dicaire versus Cynthia Lozano. I don't know the rest of the running order after that. I'm not counting out Marcus Browne. I'm not saying he gonna win. You see what I'm saying? But I'm not counting him out. But to me, in a perfect world, I want the 175-pound division unified. You know, let's just say, okay, Artur Beterbiev does win. Give me Beterbiev versus a Dmitry Bivol or Joe Smith versus the Colin Johnson winner. That fight's going to be happening, I believe it's January the 15th. But the fight I do want is I want Beterbiev versus Bivol. We're not counting Canelo yet because we know Canelo is going to, you know, be fighting at cruiserweight. You see what I'm saying? So right now we have to focus on fighters that are in the division, that are right there right now. You know, it's time to unify the division. He got 2 belts, got to go for the 3. Now, the Bivol problem is he's a DAZN fighter, you know, but he ain't been doing shit over on DAZN. You know, his resume over the last few years has been lackluster. And his performance, even though he's outskilling and defeating, you know, the fighters he's fighting, he's not creating buzz, which making other fighters like, okay, all right, you know, he's high risk, low reward. He don't generate no money, and he's a tough fight, you know? And, you know, Leonard Ellaby would tell you boxing is a business. You know, not in the business to be just throwing away money. Yeah, but Bivol been saying he won everything next. Like, that's the problem. You see what I'm saying? But, you know, I put it this way. I don't see fighters, you know, going over to call him. But I don't see fighters going to be like, yo, call up Bivol. I want to fight him. Because when you look at it, Beterbiev is a top-ranked Yvan Michel fighter. Joe Smith is a top-ranked fighter. So I think that'll be the route they'll rather go because it's a fight that can be made in-house. I just don't think Bivol's going to get the call. So in the meantime, Bivol needs to fight somebody of note, whether it's Anthony Yard, which I don't think is going to happen, Colin Smith, or Joshua Buatsi. Makabu versus Canelo. I just think Canelo going to go up there. You know, I don't know, man. It's something, you know, we're going to talk about it. Because the WBC has just put out news that David Benavidez and David Lemieux can fight for the WBC interim title. So we're going to hold on to that, Brando. We're going to hold on to that. Finally, in the last few minutes of the video, let's go check out the Jake Paul press conference. Let me pull it up right now. To be honest, I'm rooting for Tyron Woodley. And I think that 2 times may be the charm. I think he might be able to do it. Let's go through the overall boxing schedule, though, to tell you exactly what videos I'm going to be doing. So tomorrow, I am going to be covering Artur Beterbiev versus Marcus Browne. I'm going to cover Marie Dicaire versus Cynthia Lozano. That's going to be on Top Rank on ESPN Plus. Over on DAZN, this card starts at 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. I'm going to cover Michel Soro versus Israil Madrimov for the WBA mandatory spot against Charlo versus Castano winner. Not saying they're going to get that fight, but they're the WBA mandatory, the winner of that fight. So we talked about that in detail at the very beginning of the video. By the way, the show notes are down below in the description box. So everything down there, that's the schedule that we're on. Also, take your time out to like the video and subscribe if you haven't. Down below in the description box as well is several links to the WBC channel, powered by the Vive Network for Roku, Android, and Apple. And follow me on Twitter at T-Street Controversy. So this card right here on DAZN I'm going to be covering. On DAZN, yeah. Soro versus Madrimov, WBA 154-pound final eliminator. So that's 2 cards I'm going to be covering on Friday. On Friday. On Saturday, we're going to talk in detail and in depth about Derek Chisora and Joseph Parker. Because to be honest, it's like really a pointless fight, you know. And Joseph Park, the only way the fight's not going to really be, the fight's going to really mean something is if Derek Chisora wins and continues to like extend his career. But even if Derek Chisora loses, he'll still be able to get significant fights. But I want to see Joseph Parker outbox him. I want to see him box and show us something different. Joseph Parker is lingering there right there in the top 7, 8 of heavyweights, but yet not really doing anything. Carlos Gongor versus LaRon Richards, that should be an all right fight. Alan Babic, it's just like, all right, you know, we know we're going to get with him. You know, Zelfa Barrett, Sandy Ryan, and that's pretty much the only fighters I really care about on that card. That's going to be on Saturday on the Zone here in the States, midday card. Saturday night on the Zone, the card we just talked about recently, Gilberto Ramirez versus Ynuieski Gonzalez, Seneisa Estrada versus Maria Santizo, Lamont Roach Jr. versus Rene Alvarado, very good fight. Marlen Esparza versus Anabel Ortiz, and frankly, all these other guys, hey, you know, listen, I got to cook tomorrow night. Showtime pay-per-view, $49.99. Now we're moving on to this fight right here. Jake Paul versus Tyron Woodley. That's the main event. $500,000 bonus if Tyron Woodley is able to knock out Jake Paul. Amanda Serrano taking on Miriam Gutierrez. Miriam Gutierrez fought Katie Taylor. Amanda Serrano is supposed to be fighting Katie Taylor for undisputed at 135 pounds in Madison Square Garden, New York, sometime in the spring of 2022. Former NBA point guard, Utah Jazz, Brooklyn Nets, Cleveland Cavaliers. I don't remember the other teams he was on, but I think that was it right there. He probably had one more. Darren Williams taking on Frank Gore, former NFL player, most notably the 49ers. Australian fighter, Liam Paro versus Umar Alamo. And this is the pay-per-view portion right here. And then, of course, you have Jalen Love returning. I think this is against a Marcus Oliveira, Anthony Taylor versus Chris Avila. I think these are going to be matches that are going to be not televised, I think. But let's go check in on the press conference. Listen in.
Hi,
Subscribe.
Chris Maxwell with Sporting News. Tyron, yesterday during media workouts, Jake Paul had compared himself to potentially be the next Muhammad Ali. What is your reaction to that?
I mean, that's his goal. Like, I don't crush people's goals. Whatever this dude want to do, that's on him. Like, Saturday night, I'm whooping his ass. So, whatever his plans is, like, that's one thing about me. I'm real. I'm not gonna bash, just to unnecessarily bash to sell a fight. If he got goals and he got ambitions, shit he want to do, then have at it. But Saturday, my goal and my mission is clear, and it's independent of his.
Back here in the back.
Yeah. Josh Cassio, Fox 13. Tyron Woodley, if you win this fight...
Win. Start using the right words around here.
When you win this fight, will there be a trilogy?
Let's just focus on the fight. I mean, shit, we can talk about a trilogy. We can talk about 4, 5, 6, 7 times. But, you know, if I don't get it done on Saturday, this conversation is off the table. So right now, I'm laser focused on Saturday night. I'm ready. I'm excited. I'm more prepared than I was the last time. And the small...
Hold on, I'm gonna rewind it back. Yeah, I mean that's some unheard of shit, yo, putting a clause like that into a boxing match. Like, that's some significant shit. Like $500,000 if he knocks him out. And this is the part I was looking for right here, because Tyron Woodley is going to explain what happened and why he didn't finish off Jake Paul in that 7th round when he should have.
To debunk something that came about after that first fight. There was this rumor going on. There was a clause in the first fight that you couldn't be knocked out, and that was the reason why Tyron didn't go for the knockout in the 4th round after he took out. But you just
Wasn't
said
it Clarissa
there's
Shields
an
that
extra
started that rumor?
$500,000 if he does knock you out. Tell me why you said, okay, let me up the ante.
I guess my career has just become shutting people the fuck up, and this is just another version of that. So, up the ante, prove that there's no knockout clause, the fact that people think that they're idiots, and I'm willing to put money on it. That's it.
I appreciate the half a bag. I'm going to throw in some crypto.
Does that put any more pressure on you to try to get the knockout?
Absolutely not. If you go to the recreational center, you play some one-on-one basketball with a guy, he beats you 7 rounds to 1. or 7 points to 1, however you want to look at it. And then you come back next Thursday and you want to beat that guy in one-on-one basketball. Just because he is going to pay you to beat him doesn't mean you can. I'm not nervous at all about that. If anything, it's my advantage. He's going to come out, try to knock me out. And like he just said, he's going to get caught because he respects my power. A lot of people online were saying, why didn't you finish him? Why didn't you finish him? Because Tyron felt my power in the first round, and he knew that if he walked into that shit, it's on the canvas. I hurt him multiple times in that fight, but for some reason people don't want to talk about that.
When did the referee ever come towards my way to save my life? When did you hurt me? When did you nearly put me to the canvas?
7th round, overhand right.
Yeah, you
Picture
know what
that's
happened
on my
after the overhand
Instagram
right?
with your head
Got
going.
back in your face like
and you fell forward into my arms and I caught you. I saved your life. But not this time.
Every time I hit you, you ran. Every time you hit me, I walked you down. I got back in your face. So when you hit me, it actually made me even more pissed off. So at the end of the day, I don't know where that analogy came from with the basketball game. You lost me and everybody in this room because you definitely didn't win 7 rounds, number one. Number two, why didn't you knock me out? If you hit me with the hardest shots, why didn't it make me back up? Why were you the one to run in the whole time?
So it begs the question, and we'll wrap it up with this.
Let him answer that.
I said, no, 100%. I didn't hit you with my best shot, and that's the beauty of this fight coming in, and that's why I'm so confident.
What was you
I didn't hit you with my best shot. It was a bad night, and I still beat you.
It was a bad night?
And you should be embarrassed by that because I beat you on a bad night.
Gonna be a bad
my
night.
first time going 8 rounds.
That was a Christmas
hit by
gift.
a 10-ounce glove.
August 29th was a Christmas
You
gift.
don't know.
December 18th, Saturday night, it's going to be a bad night.
We'll wrap it up. How will you be different this time around?
You'll see. Enough with the talking. We're 2 days away. Everyone can tune the fucking Showtime.com/pay-per-view. Fucking be there. Otherwise, you're missing out on one of the greatest fights ever. Thank you.
Tyron, how will you be different?
I don't need to be different. I just need to go out there and get it done this time. I needed more time the last time. This time I'm getting some extension to that for last fight, so I'm going to get the round done. This is the round 9 to me.
Here we go, folks. Leave no doubt. Jake Paul, Tyron Woodley. Showtime pay-per-view. I know members of the...
To be honest, this fight's going to do better on pay-per-view than the Tommy Fury fight was going to do here in the States. I saw somebody comment yesterday in the chat saying that it's not even on BT over in the UK. They pulled it. Does this fight have a UK TV deal? Here in the States, it's going to be $49.99. Jake Paul yesterday was talking about at the media workout how, you know, his hit list includes Nate Diaz, Conor McGregor, and he really thinks he's going to get the Canelo fight. I mean, I don't count nothing out in boxing anymore. You know, and the possibility of him and his brother Logan Paul fighting. But me personally, I'm hoping that Tyron Woodley do it, you know, because it's like, all right, bro, show this kid like you are in combat sports. Show him you can't just come off the street and just, you know. But you do have to give Jake Paul credit for what he has been doing for boxing overall. Like, dude has been really making some moves, you know. And also helping fighters like get paid, like Amanda Serrano.
I was the first one that really entertained these ideas even before Conor did.
To take on boxing and take on other paychecks after your career in MMA is somewhat over.
You know,
if they want to lose.
For me, he was talking to a man. Let the child be quiet. For me, I've always been a trailblazer. I was the first one with the vlog. Make sure you guys check out Champ Camp. It's crazy right now. I was the first one that really entertained these ideas even before Conor did. I was talking about boxing before, and then actually my coach Dean Thomas was here, was talking about boxing before any MMA fighter was boxing. So my mind has always been ahead of the curve. I suggest people do what they are put here to do. Everybody will watch Instagram and internet and they see something cool and they want to go and do it. Like, that's not what we're here. For one thing, this fight against Jake, I don't know what it is with this kid that makes me excited to train, that makes me want to get in the gym. And that's why this fight was important to me the first time, and that's why it's important this time. You know, whatever excites you and motivates you to go out there and do whatever God puts you on this earth to do and passionate about, do that. Every MMA fighter should box. Some MMA fighters should box, but they got to make that decision for themselves. So I'm not going out there, you know, waving the banner for MMA. I'm not going out there waving the banner for anybody that want to see Jake get his butt kicked. I'm doing it for myself. And if anybody benefits from it after that, then, you know, multiple birds with one stone. But do what you're supposed to do. Do what you God put you here for. Don't sit here and try to follow my footsteps.
Thanks, T. Wood. Jake, conversely, you know, as T said earlier, you've proven your power in the ring. Would you ever consider taking an MMA fight?
Yeah, for sure. 100%. I think it could happen.
You a lie.
Why not? Why not?
You a lie.
If I can learn how to box in 2 years and beat people like him, then why can't I learn how to do MMA
Let's do
in 2
MMA
years
then.
and beat people like him?
Let's do MMA then.
So that's my answer. Is it will happen at some point. 100%.
Let's do this MMA after we do this boxing stuff, so I can elbow you in the head and knee you in the nugget.
So there you have it, folks.
He cap.
Paul versus Woodley 2. They say it's all about leave, no doubt. Comes your way, Showtime pay-per-view, Saturday, December 8th, 9 p.m. Eastern. That is 6 o'clock Pacific time. Our first time back here in Tampa in 13 years, but we'll be at the Emily Arena. You can get tickets at emilyarena.com. Make sure you get them because we are expecting a sellout at that arena. Ladies, gentlemen, appreciate it. Let's get a face-off here, guys. Let's face off.
Bueno, Yomar, Miriam, por favor, que vamos a tener los careos, así que prepárense de atrás. Ahora les van a decir a dónde.
That's something that's been bothering me, though. Jake Paul and VADA testing. It's like, bro, like you of all people coming into the sport fresh, talking about throwing all this money around, you should be like, you know, VADA testing, taking the best testing possibly available. You know, I haven't seen any interviews, but maybe I need to do some research. I want to know his reasoning behind that. Like, you know, like why aren't you taking the best drug testing? You know, you leave a lot of space for people just to, you know, say shit like me right now, you know. Another key fight that's happening this week, David Morrell is returning to take on, did I put it on here? Oh, no, I didn't. It ain't on there. It's right here. On PBC on Fox, also on Saturday. I expect this card to be over at about 10:30 Eastern or so. David Morrell Jr. is taking on Lantez Fox, the brother of Michael Fox, the one who was involved in the the WBA bigot shit. Michael Fox is kind of a hero. He's one of the reasons why the WBA are being forced to get rid of their bullshit belts. You know, he paid the ultimate cost for us, you know, to win. Yeah, there's something going on. Jake Paul doesn't want VADA testing. VADA test Serrano's opponent. Oh, get out of here. That's probably some bigot shit you're saying. So yeah, it's something funky going on there. Something definitely funky going on there with the drug testing. You know? But that's going to be on pay-per-view. I'm going to be here tomorrow covering that Israil Madrimov Michael Soro card. Of course, I'm going to be here tomorrow night covering Beterbiev versus Marcus Browne. You know, with the way 2021's been going, I wouldn't be surprised if Marcus Browne wins. You see what I'm saying? Also, he's got Derrick James in his corner. I'm a big Derrick James guy, so, you know. Yeah, Jake Paul making some bank. I wonder how many pay-per-view buys this is going to do. Let me check real quick and see how many pay-per-view buys that Paul versus Woodley 1 did. Anybody remember? Pay-per-view buys. Let me see if something came out. Any type of ballpark figure. It's saying the Jake Paul fight did around, the first fight did around 500,000 pay-per-view buys. It's no way, and his fights are only $49.99. It's no way that the Tommy Fury fight would have did that much. Maybe 200 or so. But the Woodley rematch, I'm thinking it could possibly do around 400. Not the 500, maybe 350 to 400 or so, if that's the number that they're giving out right there. Here, this is the, I just did a quick little Google search right here, you know, of what the reported numbers was. And they're saying 480 to 500 or so thousand pay-per-view buys. Which is damn good for this generation. of streaming and all that. So if 500,000 people brought it, then you can guarantee probably like 2 million people streamed that shit. You know? And no streams are in crisp high definition. Well, before we get out of here, thanks for watching. We've been shadow banned on YouTube for a video I did 2+ years ago. So I got a community guideline strike the weekend of Canelo versus Plant. That's why I didn't do coverage that week. And basically when you're shadow banned, the YouTube algorithms start fucking around with your videos. Sorry for all the cussing. So my numbers on the channel been real funky lately. You know, so I was told that it can last anywhere from 30 days to 6 months. So, you know, it is what it is. In the meantime, I feel good being back doing streams again. I'm thinking about going to a fight in Atlantic City. Gary Russell Jr. is supposed to be fighting his mandatory Mark Maxeo. And, you know, Atlantic City, from my understanding, doesn't have a vaccine mandate. So I may be heading down there for the Gary Russell fight. And just so happens, Gary Russell, I believe, was the last fight I actually ever attended. You know, like since, you know, the whole COVID stuff started. So I'll be ending my fight coverage hiatus, likely with that fight. Not guaranteed yet. Also, tomorrow, pray for me. You don't have to, but I'm just saying, I'm trying to get me a PS5. This is my time to shit on FedEx. I ordered a PS5 through Walmart Plus. Not a PS5, an Xbox through Walmart Plus. Like the second week of November or something. It was supposed to be here on Black Friday. Somebody stole my shit on the FedEx truck. So they gave me my refund, but now I got to go to my local GameStop to try to get me a PS5. And I probably got to wait in line outside of some shit. I'm tired of it. I don't have no video game. I sold my PS4 Pro thinking I was getting the Xbox. I fumbled it. I fumbled everything. I got my PS4 Pro hot off the streets for $200. And I sold it for $250. Fucked it up. Anyway, I'm out of here. I'm T Street Controversy with FV360. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Please take your time.